Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a seriously profound piece of source material, Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. In this explainer, we're going to systematically unpack something that affects, well, literally every single one of us. We're looking at exactly how our own minds manufacture our suffering. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. More importantly, we're going to map out the very real, practical steps you can take to break out of that exhausting cycle.
Okay, let's jump right into the roadmap for today. We're going to cover An Awakening from Despair, You Are Not Your Mind, Dissolving the Pain Body, The Illusion of Time, and finally, Accessing the Power of Now. Let's get to it.
Part 1. An Awakening from Despair. To really get what this material is all about, you kinda have to know where it started. Up until he was 30, Eckhart Tolle lived in what you could only call continuous anxiety and really dark suicidal depression. And then, one night, he was just hit with absolute dread. He had this terrifying thought, I cannot live with myself any longer. But then, he caught this bizarre paradox in his own words. He asked himself, wait, am I one or two? If I can't live with myself, there must be two of me, right? The I and the self that I can't stand. And in that realization, that false, suffering self just sort of collapsed. He was suddenly left in this state of deep, uninterrupted peace.
Part 2. You Are Not Your Mind. There's this fantastic, super vivid analogy in the text about a beggar. He's been sitting by the side of the road on an old, beat-up box for 30 years. One day, a stranger walks by, and the beggar asks for some spare change. The stranger says no, but asks, hey, what's in the box you're sitting on? The beggar says, nothing, but pries open the lid anyway, and boom, it's completely filled with gold. So the question here is, what are you sitting on? The gold represents the radiant, natural joy of just existing. But we completely miss it, don't we? Because we're constantly looking outside ourselves, looking to the future, to external success, to other people for these tiny little scraps of fulfillment.
And this leads us straight into the concept of the ego. Tolle defines the ego as a false self that's created when we unconsciously identify with our mind. Basically, the ego treats the mind like a dog treats a favorite bone. It just obsessively chews on problems, it generates this endless mental noise, and it absolutely refuses to let go. And the craziest part, we literally believe we are that noise.
Just think about the sheer contrast here. The famous philosopher René Descartes thought he nailed the ultimate truth when he said, I think, therefore I am. But Tolle completely flips this on its head. He argues that equating our thinking with who we actually are is humanity's most basic and most dangerous mistake. For Tolle, compulsive thinking has basically become a disease. We aren't using our minds anymore, our minds are using us.
Part 3. Dissolving the Pain Body.
Now, this whole mind identification thing isn't just some abstract, intellectual puzzle. It actually manifests physically as what Tolle calls the pain body. Picture this as a negative energy field living inside you, built up from old, unresolved emotional pain. It's honestly like an invisible parasite. It survives by making us unconscious, and it literally feeds on negativity, drama, and anger. It can flare up out of nowhere to attack the people around us, or even worse, it turns inward and attacks us.
You might be thinking, well, okay, I'll just figure out a way to stop hurting. I'll think my way out of it. But here is a brilliantly powerful analogy from the text. Imagine a chief of police trying to hunt down an arsonist, but the arsonist is the chief of police. You can't use your mind to solve your emotional pain because your mind is the very thing generating it. The mind fighting the mind is just a totally closed loop, no way out.
So how do we actually transmute this pain body? The explainer outlines 3 very concrete steps. First, focus your attention directly on that negative feeling inside you. Just look at it. Second, accept that it's there. Don't judge it, don't analyze it, don't try to push it away. Just accept it. And third, stay totally present as the silent observer. You see, unconsciousness is what created the pain body in the first place, but your conscious attention literally burns it up. Just shining the light of your own consciousness onto the pain completely severs your identification with it. It's like a superpower.
Part 4. The Illusion of Time.
Okay, now we are shifting to the mind's ultimate trick for keeping you trapped, the delusion of time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't time precious? We are always told time is our most valuable resource. We need it to survive. Well, Tolle hits us with a deeply radical reframing here. Time is actually a total illusion. The thing you think is precious isn't time at all. It's the one singular point that exists completely outside of time. The really crucial point here is understanding the difference between two types of time. Clock time is absolutely fine and necessary. It's how we book flights, schedule meetings, and learn from past mistakes. We need it to function. But psychological time, that is deeply toxic. That's when we try to find our identity by dwelling on the past, or we convince ourselves that we'll finally be happy, saved, or complete at some magical point in the future. Psychological time is just a constant denial of the reality of right now.
Because here is the absolute truth of the matter. Think about it. Nothing has ever happened in the past. When it happened in the now. And nothing will ever happen in the future. When it finally happens, it's going to happen in the now. The past and the future are just pale, shadowy projections of the mind. The present moment is literally all you ever have.
Part 5. Accessing the power of now. So, how do we actually pull this off? How do we step fully into the present moment in our everyday lives? Well, first, we have to catch our minds playing sneaky little games to avoid the now. Think about these everyday habits: complaining about the weather, or getting annoyed in traffic. Or small-scale waiting, like standing in line at the grocery store. Or large-scale waiting, like counting down the days to your next vacation, or waiting until you get that promotion so you can finally be happy. Waiting is a state of mind that just creates this agonizing, stressful split between where you are right now and where you desperately want to be.
To break this habit, Tolle offers a super practical tool: watching the thinker. Start listening to the voice in your head, but do it impartially, like you're a third-party observer. As you witness that thought without judging it, you'll start to feel this underlying conscious presence beneath it. This creates a tiny gap of what he calls no mind. And the best part? You can practice this literally anytime. While you're washing your hands, just pay total attention to the feeling of the water in the soak, or feel every single muscle moving as you walk up the stairs.
Actually, you know what? Let's try this right now. The source text actually uses a pause symbol to make the reader stop and practice. So let's do it, together. Stop analyzing for a second. Become totally still. Just listen to the silence in the room around you. Right there. That brief little gap of thoughtless presence, that is the power of now. Let's look at how this builds into a totally new way of seeing the world. We constantly confuse our life situation with our actual life. Your life situation is trapped in time. It's your bank account, your relationship drama, your history. It's just full of mind stuff and problems. But your actual life? That is the underlying, unbroken perfection of your being, and it only ever exists right now.
Which leaves us with this final and honestly incredibly provocative question. What problem do you have right now? Seriously, not a problem for tomorrow, not something you have to deal with in 5 minutes. Right this precise second. If you strip away the past and you strip away the future, you will find that in this exact singular second, you have no problems at all. Just the beautiful, silent reality of being alive. If this perspective shifted something for you today, there's so much more depth to uncover in Tolle's work. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to step into the now today.